Hello, everyone. Hello. I see that you already started telling us where you're from. That's exciting. I'm always happy to see so many people. Hi, LA, NC, UK, ready and waiting. Malaysia, midnight. Wow, that's very committed. Can you all hear me? Can you all see me fine? Please tell me if you're seeing me and hearing me so I know that I'm not talking to the void, to the great big void.
Hopefully, no.
Loud and clear. Perfect. Sherry, thank you very much. Armando, Saishon, everything, everyone, thank you for telling me that you heard me and that you can see me so I can start with the webinar without too much delay. So, thank you so much for being here with us today. I know for some of you might be very early, for some of you might be very late. Don't worry, everything is recorded and you're gonna get the link. I'm gonna repeat this, so don't worry to miss anything. My name is Francesca Marano. I'm the WordPress community and partnership manager here at SiteGround. And today we have a treat because we have a fantastic colleague that is going to help you through the setup. Her name is Mila Kanadzierska. I'm always afraid to say her name wrong. She's one of our supervisors for the customer care. She's been part of SiteGround for over 10 years. In fact, last year we had our Christmas party and she got a medal for being with us for 10 years. She's very involved with WordPress and the local community in Bulgaria. She's been a WordCamp organizer, she's a meetup organizer, and she has a lot of useful information for you today. So before I leave the stage and the video to Mila, I want to mention that you can ask all your questions, but just please type them in the Ask a Question section so I can see them and we can ask Mila to answer some of those later on. Some of those might be off topic, but please keep putting your questions there because I will collect them all and then we can maybe use some of your questions for future webinars. So without further ado, I will give the stage to Mila. Hello, darling.
Hello, Franchi, and thank you so much for the kind words. And by the way, you pronounce my last name perfectly
I'm
fine.
always worried I'm not really, because I never know where the accent goes, but
It's strange even for Bulgarians, so
yeah.
no worries. It's perfectly fine.
Because it
And
doesn't have the ova at the end that it's
I
usually either your dad or your husband. So it is
that's
an
true.
unusual name. So yes, we're recording this. I will now mute myself, remove myself from the video, leave
Thank
the
you.
stage to Mila so you can actually see both. Mainly, you'll see her slides and her screen so you can see everything. And I will start combing through the messages and the questions and be a bit present in the chat with you. And I think we're ready to go. Mila, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go, and I hope all of you are.
All
Hello,
right.
everybody. Hi. So yes, I am Mila, and I will be leading you through this webinar today. I'm so excited to see so many of you here. So thank you very much for joining us. And I hope you can all hear me and see my screen clearly because we'll be going through a lot of interesting things today. So let's begin. Let's start with this. So today we're going to talk about how to set up a website on the SiteGround platform. I'm going to show you the initial steps on how to start with your first websites on SiteGround, and I'm going to show you some tricks and tips how our platform can actually help you and walk you through the whole process. So be focused and let's go to the real part of this session today. Before going into a little bit more details on how this is working on SiteGround, I want to guys give you some background on what we're actually going to see today, what we're actually going to hear, and what we're going to do. So each one of you needs to set up a website, right? And what actually is a website? Website is domain name, which is the name of your website. This is the URL. This is how people will find you when they search for your website on the internet in the browser. And the domain name is very, very important for your business. On SiteGround, we allow clients to start setting up their websites in 3 different ways. So they can use a brand new domain name that they're going to register with us. They can use existing domain name that's already registered with another company or again with SiteGround, but it has been registered before. And the third option is they can start setting up their website on a temporary domain name that we're going to give you. So you can start working on the actual content of the website. And what is the website content? The website content, this is number of files and a database connected and working together. This might sound a bit more technical than you want it to be, and that's why I'm in rush to let you know that there is nothing to worry about, because we are going to take care of that for you. So we'll take care of the technicalities. We're going to take care of setting up the files and database on your account. The thing that you will have to do on your end is to choose the site building tool that you're going to use in order to create your website. This is the site building application. It's also called site building tool or application. It doesn't really matter. And SiteGround, we offer to our clients a few hundred different tools. So you can go with any of those, or you can even create a website that's custom built by yourself or someone that's helping you with that. At the moment, the most commonly used application, the most preferred application for building websites is called WordPress. I'm sure that most of you know a lot about WordPress, or at least you've heard about WordPress before. The reason that WordPress is the most preferred application at the moment is actually, the reasons are a few, but pretty much it's super, super user friendly. So even someone who is not so technical advanced or someone with not much technical background can start working on a website and actually create a website really easy. And the second option why WordPress is so famous, so popular, is because it gives you like a lot of options to grow. So you can further develop your website and turn it into something very professional, something very huge, of course, in the future. And it pretty much gives you like numerous thousands of options to grow and further develop your project. Another thing that a lot of our clients use, it's called Weebly. That's a site building tool again, but it's way more intuitive, and it's usually preferred by more newbies, like people that really are hesitant on how to start and what to do, and prefer something more easy, something easier, something more user friendly, like drag and drop, and that's why they go with Weebly. So WordPress is one option, Weebly is another option. Of course, as I mentioned, we have many different tools that you can choose from. So if you already set your preferences of something, don't hesitate, just go with it, and we'll help you with setting it up on your account. Again, we'll take care of these technicalities, the files, the databases. You just need to log in as administrator of your website, log into the backend, and start setting up the content. Start putting up images, text, or whatever you want to have on your website, basically. Whatever is going to make your website your own website. So far, so good. We have the background, we have the basis. So now we are all aware of what website is. So let's take it from there and see what will happen next and how this is going to happen on SiteGround, which is the more interesting part of this webinar today. So when you log into SiteGround, the first thing that you will see is our setup wizard. It will pretty much walk you through the steps on how to start with your website. And in general, you are going to see a screen that looks like that. So you have an option to choose between starting a new website or migrating an existing website. But something really important, guys, that I want to mention is, as you can see on this setup page, you are currently on step 2. You are not on step 1, where you have to choose the domain name. This is because when you log in your SiteGround hosting account for a very first time, our system automatically detects the domain name that you chose upon the registration of your account. So it gets the domain name that you chose when you registered for the account by default, and that's why the system takes you directly to step 2 to choose between starting a new website or migrating an existing website. Of course, if you want to start your first website with a different domain name of your choice, you can always click on choose domain step 1 and go back to the first page. Let me show you now how this actually works directly on the SiteGround account. So I'm gonna remove my presentation and I'm gonna log into SiteGround now. Okay, we are logging in from here. I'm gonna put my very secure SiteGround password. Always, guys, choose very strong, very secure passwords. That's important. And let's see how this is going to work directly on the SiteGround account. This is a test account that I created for the webinar, so I already did some work here. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you and try to walk you through these steps from the very beginning. So what happens here? All of your websites, sites that you're going to have on SiteGround, you can see if you click on this tab right here on the top of the screen, websites. So as you can see, I already have some test websites created here, but I'm gonna again walk you through the steps on setting up a brand new website now. And this is really easy. So let's go ahead and click on the button new website, which is in the upper right corner. And now, as you can see, we are already on the first step of setting up our website. We are choosing the domain name. And now the system gives us 3 options to choose, again, from brand new domain name that we're going to register now, to choose from existing domain name that has been registered before, or choose setting up our website on a temporary domain name. I'm gonna briefly show you the difference between the 3 options. So if I go ahead and click on new domain name, I have to choose the domain name that I want to register now. So let's say I want to register mila.com. Mila is my name, so I want mila.com. But unfortunately, it's not available. So I have to choose another domain name. If I put, let's say, some numbers here, some random numbers, and click on the enter sign, this one is already available for registration, so I can go ahead and start working on my website with this domain name right away. If I want to go and select the option existing domain name and start working with the domain name that has been already registered, let's say again I want to choose mila.com. So I'm going to click continue, and attention, this site already exists at SiteGround. So I have to choose another domain name. Let's say I'm going to choose something else. Now the system gives me a warning that this domain name is not under my SiteGround account. So if I wish to continue, I have to make sure that I have access to my domain name so I can afterwards connect it to my website. This is very important, guys, when you are going to work with existing domain names, but I'm going to explain about this a little bit later. For this webinar, I chose to go with the 3rd option and actually work on a temporary domain name, because I believe this is what most of you will decide to use. So again, you can use a new domain name, existing, or a temporary domain name. It's important to start working on your website when your ideas are still fresh. So I highly encourage all of you guys to start working on your websites, and don't be so bothered about the domain name choice at the moment, because this can be changed at later point. So even if you start working on something, you can change it after the website is already created. So don't give it much of a thought, just go ahead and start working on your website. So for this webinar, again, I'm going to choose temporary domain name. As you can see, this is already created by SiteGround. So we give you the temporary domain name that you're going to work with. And I'm going to click on the orange button, continue. So let's see what happens next. On step 2 of setting up our website on SiteGround, I have an option to choose between starting a new website or migrating an existing website. I'm going to show you the option to start a new website, but before that, let's see what are the options if you choose to select to migrate an existing website from another company. So in case you are moving from another company to SiteGround, this is the option you will go for to migrate the website. And here we have two options. So if you're going to move a WordPress website, we highly recommend you to go with our WordPress auto migration tool. It's specifically developed for SiteGround customers by our team, and through very few simple steps, you will be able to move your website from the other host to SiteGround exactly as it is. So if you want to go with this option, you just need to click select and go through the steps from there. The other option is if you just want to save yourself the time and hassle on doing that by yourself, you can always, of course, request the manual transfer by our team. If we go ahead and select this option, you will see that we require access to the control panel with the other registrar. So you just have to fill in all of this information, click continue, and we'll take it from there. Basically, we'll do the work for you. Let's go ahead now with the first option, and this is starting a new website, which again is what I think most of you will actually do. If we click the option to start a new website, our system immediately shows you like a choice of a few different applications, site building tools that you may go with. Of course, option 1 is WordPress. Then we have WordPress and WooCommerce, Weebly Site Builder, and under other, you can find all of the other applications that you may think of. Let's say Joomla is there. So we can go with any other application that you want to go with and work with for your website. For this specific webinar, I'm going to go with WordPress. But before going with WordPress and installing the application on your hosting account so we can actually start working on the website, there is something very interesting right here at the bottom of the page, and this is the option skip and create empty website. Just a few words about this option. If you have a developer or a company or someone else who is going to work on the website and you're not exactly sure how are they going to do it, how are they going to proceed with the website, you can always select the option skip and create empty website, so you can register the website in our system under SiteGround and then give them access so they can start doing whatever they want to do. So at the moment, you don't know how they're going to proceed, so you choose this option. Let's go back and install WordPress now so I can show you how easy that is, and pretty much in a few simple steps you can have a website which is up and running, working, and you just need to start setting up your content. I'm going to go ahead and click on select WordPress, and here on the page the only thing that is required for me is to choose an email address, a username that I'm going to use for the backend login so I can log in as administrator, and of course a password. Again, guys, it's very, very important to keep secure, strong passwords for everything that you set up, no matter if this is your SiteGround account or this is your website backend login or your email. Passwords are important. You can use our generator tool that will generate a strong password for you. So I used the generate tool, and I'm gonna hit continue. This is the last final page where we recommend to add the site scanner to your website, which is a service that monitors for different vulnerabilities on the website, and it will send you a notification if it detects something. But let's say I don't want to do the site scanner at the moment, so I'm gonna go ahead and click finish. The site creation takes about 2 minutes. So at the moment, the system is doing its magic and it's creating this database and files I mentioned about. It's connecting them so you can get access to the backend, so we can do the hard work for you, and you can just start working on the actual content, meaning what you're going to have on the website. Until this is done, we'll just give it a minute. Until this is done, I want to guys explain a little bit more about how to work with an existing domain name. So when you start working with SiteGround, you have to be first aware or clear on what you're going to do. If you're going to work with an existing domain name and start a new website, let's say you already have a domain name that is registered somewhere else, but you want to start a brand new website. So those are the steps that you will be going through, what I just showed you. If you want to work with an existing domain name and migrate a website, then you're going to go ahead and do the option for site migration. If you want to start a new website, but if you want to choose your existing domain name, you should all know, and again, this is very important, that creating the website in our system doesn't automatically connect the website with the domain name. So this is something that you will have to do additionally after the website is created. This is something that you can do by changing the DNS settings for the domain name, the name servers, to the proper DNS settings for your website on SiteGround. Of course, we're going to give you the proper settings, and you just need to contact the domain registrar company, or in other words, where you have previously registered the domain name. Give them the new settings so they can make the connection between the domain and the website. Because again, this doesn't happen automatically, and even if you go ahead and set up a website on this specific domain name, this is not going to work automatically, and you will not be able to see the website immediately. You will be able to see the website after you connect the domain and the website itself. You should also know that changing the DNS settings usually requires up to 72 hours propagation period. So even if you change them now, you may need to wait for a day or two until you see the website you're building on SiteGround. I'm gonna go ahead and show you where to find the proper settings and what actually you need to do with the name servers of your website in a little bit. So let's go back now to the setup page right here. As you can see, our website is now created and we are all set. So we have quick access to view our website, to access the WordPress admin panel, or to go to Site Tools. Site Tools is the control panel, the management area of your website. On SiteGround, when you create a website, each website has its own management area, its own control panel area. So you can manage each website completely separately, completely independently. And if you want to give someone else access to a specific website, someone that can help you with this website, developer, designer, or something else, you're absolutely free and available to do that anytime. Okay, so this page, by the way, is dynamic one. So if I was going to work on an existing domain name, I was going to see here the DNS settings, the name servers that I have to use, so I can make the connection between the domain and the website. So let's see where our website is. As mentioned in the beginning, all websites on SiteGround, you can view, you can see under the websites tab on the top corner of the screen. So here is my new website, the one that I just created, which is this one. And here I have quick access, like shortcuts, again to Site Tools, the control panel area. And because this is a WordPress website, I also have access, like a shortcut, to our WordPress kit. Let me show you what we have in the WordPress kit. In the WordPress kit, we have a variety of tools that you can use for easy management of your WordPress website, for improving performance, for better speed, and etc. So this is pretty much the management tool of your WordPress website. So we have easy access to the WordPress admin panel. We have our caching system here, the auto update system, the staging environment, the backup system, and we have the WordPress tools from where you can update passwords and change domain names if needed. I'm not going to go into any further details with the WordPress kit because we are anyways planning on a separate webinar for WordPress specifically. So let's leave it for there. Let's go back one step now. And I'm gonna go ahead and show you, in case you work with an existing domain name, how to actually find the proper settings of your website, the proper name servers. Each website, again, is completely separate, completely independent. So logically, each website might have different name servers. So for this specific website that we just created, I'm going to click on the Manage button. And then I'm going to go to this 3 dots menu right here, which is called Kebab menu. It's always strange. And I'm going to hit on Server Details. So under Server Details, we can see our 2 name servers. And this is the information you have to use in case you're working with an existing domain name and in case you need to make the connection. So I'm going to hit on Close now. And I'm going to show you guys some stuff in our Site Tools panel. So let's click on Site Tools for this specific website. We are going to the control panel area now. And here I'm going to show you a few interesting things, what you can do within the control panel of your website. Okay, so let me start with this, that the control panel, the Site Tools panel, this is really customizable and you can customize it based on your own preferences. So I'm going to show you how you can do that. If we click on Edit Pin Tools right here, I can pin the tools, the tools that I need the most, that I use the most, and of course I can unpin tools that I don't need. So if I just go ahead and click on Save, as you can see, I'm customizing my Site Tools panel as per my own preferences. Another interesting thing is the search tool on the upper right corner. From here, you have easy access to our knowledge base. We have a huge knowledge base with a lot of articles and tutorials that will help you through the process and that you might find very, very interesting and useful. So I definitely encourage all of you to use them anytime you can. You have easy access to the search tool, by the way, on every page of your SiteGround account. So it's not just in the Site Tools panel, but if we go back to the main client area, again, on the upper right corner, I have easy access to the search section. So this is available on every SiteGround page. So let's go back and log in again to Site Tools of our newly created website. And I'm going to show you there a few other cool stuff. Okay, well, the first thing that I wanted to show you guys is how to actually add another application, another site building tool to your website, because we just installed WordPress. But in case you're planning to create like e-commerce website and you want to work with Magento or PrestaShop, on top of that, you want to have a blog. You can always install a second website, like a second application, a second tool on the same website, on the same page. When you go to your Site Tools panel, click on Site and then click on the App Manager right here. So if we go ahead and click on the App Manager, we are allowed to install a second site building tool. So let's say I want to do another WordPress. So I'm going to select WordPress. Then this is the domain name that we're working on, and here is the installation path. So I want to do a second block, so I'm going to install it in block. So this is very important, the installation path. If we leave it empty, the system will not allow us to do the second installation because we already have one installation, one application under domain name. So if you want to do a second one, like an additional installation, the installation path should not be empty. So you should always have here the path of your new website, of your new installation. And this is going to go like the main domain name / block. Again, I'm prompted to choose username, password, email address, and just click on the button install. This will be done automatically. And again, we're saving you the hassle of taking care of files, database, and etc. We do the hard part for you. You just need to log in as administrator and start working on the content, on what you're going to have on the website. Another very interesting feature is under the security section, and this is the SSL manager. At the moment, most probably some of you know about that, but others may not. So it's very important your website to have security certificate on it. So this is a must for each website, no matter if it's e-commerce or just a simple informational blog. You should have SSL, you should have a web secure connection on your website. Luckily, with SiteGround, each client can get a SSL certificate for each one of his websites completely free of charge. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to install SSL on your website. So we are again in Site Tools. We go to the Security section and we click on SSL Manager. This is the domain name I'm working on, and I have a choice between 3 different certificates. I'm going to go ahead and install the Let's Encrypt regular certificate, and then I'm going to hit on Get. This might take a while, but until it's working, I wanna go through some important information with you. In order to install the SSL on your website, you should know that the domain name needs to be already pointed to SiteGround. So if you're working on an existing domain name, which is still not pointed to us, still not connected by the name servers, by the DNS settings, the SSL cannot be installed because we cannot do the necessary verification checks. So you can go ahead and install SSL only if you're working on a brand new domain name created with your website, if you're working on a temporary domain name, or if you're working on an existing domain name. First, you need to make sure that the domain is connected with your website, the DNS settings are changed and propagated, the propagation period is over, and then you can proceed with the SSL installation. This is important for you to know, because otherwise, if you want to try and install SSL before connecting the domain name, this is not going to go through. Okay, well, it seems our SSL is already successfully installed on the account. So let me show you our website now. Okay. And it's still not secured. But this is completely normal, guys. I'm gonna explain what's the reason. So when you have less SSL installed on your website, this is actually not enough. So you can direct this website to use the SSL, to use the HTTPS connection. There is another step that you need to take, which is again very easy through SiteGround. And this is forcing the website to use not the HTTP, but the HTTPS, the secure protocol, the secure connection. On SiteGround, this is easily done when we go to HTTP enforce. This is pretty much directing your website to use the SSL that we just installed. And this is again a must, like an additional step that you need to take for most of the applications that you will be working on. The only thing you need to do is just to click on this button right here, and we are all set now. Our website should be fully secured on HTTPS. So let's go ahead and refresh our browser. And here is the padlock. Our WordPress website is already secured and working on secure connection. So let's go back to Site Tools, as I want to show you a few more things from here. Another tool that I personally find very useful, especially if you're a newbie and if you're hesitant on how to work on the website, if this is your first website, you don't have a lot of experience, you might get a little bit too excited about changing stuff on the website in the beginning. And believe me or not, things break. So it's normal if at some point you just break something on your website. But we have you covered on this part as well, because we create automatic backups of your website every day. So with SiteGround, we create one backup a day, and we keep backups from the last 30 days. So those backups are stored again in your Site Tools panel, the control panel area of your website, under security, if you click on backups. So this website we just created, so normally it doesn't have any backups. That is why I am prepared with a site I have created a few days ago. So I'm just gonna go to one of my other websites so I can show you the backup tool. So if you missed where I click exactly, on the top corner, you can, with the change button, you can easily switch between all sites that you have created on SiteGround. So you can easily switch from one site to another. And this is the site I have created a few days ago, and it already has several backups. So what you have to do is just to click on the three dots menu next to the backup and click on Restore Files and Databases. If I go ahead and click Confirm, I'm gonna go ahead and restore a backup that has been created before for my website. Again, this is very, very important, especially if you're a newbie and if you're unsure how to work on the website, things break, but we have you covered. So this is pretty much about the backups. Another thing that I wanted to show you, so I'm going to go back to the main client area now. Since we're working on a temporary domain name, I'm going to explain now. At some point, you will want to go on and start working with a real domain name. So let's say you weren't sure in the beginning on what domain name to choose, but now you have the right name for your website. So and your website is ready. So it's time for you to switch from the temporary domain name to the real domain name for your website. So in order to do so, we again click on the website section. We click on Manage next to the website that we're going to switch the domain name from for. We go to the three dots menu on the screen right here on the right side, and we click on Change Primary Domain Name. So here we just need to put in the domain name that we're going to use, no matter it's going to be, and we click on Confirm. There are a couple of things you need to be aware of when changing the domain name of your website, and we pretty much listed them here, but I'm gonna go through the most important of them. So first, about the security certificate. The security certificate is issued per domain, guys. So if you already issued security certificate for the previous domain name and now you're switching to another one, this cannot be just transferred to the new domain name. So you will have to just issue a new security certificate for the new domain name. You should also know, of course, the DNS stuff is applicable. So the new domain name needs to be pointed to SiteGround in case it's not registered with us. The DNS settings, they have to be changed. All of your email addresses will be transferred from the old domain name to the new one. So we'll do that automatically. Of course, FTP counts as well. We are going to switch the domain name for the website in our system, but you should be aware that some applications, some site building tools, they're a little bit more sensitive on domain names, so some additional configuration on through the website will be necessary in case you're changing from one domain name to another. Some of your links or some of your images may not work properly. This is something that our support can help you with if needed. And when we talk about domain names and changing from one domain name to another, and of course emails, I want to show you the most essential part for any business, and those are the emails. So anyone use emails nowadays, and the emails are also included with your SiteGround hosting package. So how to create emails? Let me show you how easy is that through your Site Tools panel. So we'll go back to Site Tools, and I'm going to show you how you can create email addresses, as many as you want. So this is a temporary domain name that we're working on. So if I go to emails and click on email accounts, naturally this feature is not available because I cannot have email accounts on a temporary domain name. That is why I'm going to choose another domain name that I created before, like a real domain name. And when we switch to this website, you will see that now I can create my email addresses. So let's say I want to create email address Mila at my domain name. I can again use the generate password option and click create. The email address is ready, and you can see all of your email addresses right here at the bottom of the screen. So that's pretty much for the emails. And I just want to take like maybe a couple of more minutes of your time and show you something that I personally find really interesting. If we go back to the main client area, I mentioned in the beginning that you may want to work with a developer or a designer or even a friend who is going to do the website for you. So if you want to give him access to your specific website, you can do that without a problem. We just need to go to the upper right corner under our initial and click on Manage Users. Under this section, the system allows me to create a user, and I can select, let's say, collaborator, give him access to my website, the one that I just created. I think that was the last one. Just put a name, email address, and send him invitation by clicking on the add button. He will get an invitation and he will have access to the Site Tools panel of my website. So he will be able to log into Site Tools only. So this is important. He will have access to this area, and he will be able to get support if needed and navigate through this area. He will not have access to your emails, and he will not have access to your main SiteGround client area. I think that's pretty much I wanted to show you today in this webinar, and how to start working on a new website with SiteGround. Hopefully the information has been useful to all of you. So now I can address some of your questions if you have any. Francesca? Francesca? I think I lost Francesca. Franci, can you hear me? I'm gonna just stop sharing my screen. And let's see what is going on with Francesca. Are you Mila? Yes, I'm Mila. Thank you. Thank you. I'm reading through some of your comments. Thank you. Okay. Let's see what's going on with Francesca. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, now it's the time to go ahead and ask me about them. I'm going to go through your comments. Okay. Can you do how to use the email system, where to access the emails? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen now. I think Francesca has some technical difficulties, so I'm gonna go through the comments that I see here on the screen. I may not address all of your comments, guys, so I'm just gonna go through those that I see at the moment. So there was a question on where to access your emails. So the emails you can access through, we have a webmail client interface. So you can access your emails directly from there. Or of course, you have the option to set up your emails on third-party applications like Outlook, Thunderbird will give you the settings. This is again very easy. So you have many options and pretty much it depends on what you're used to work with. So let's see some other questions now. Okay. If I update the name servers, will the email addresses that I already have set up soon, the DNS, continue to work? This is a question from Paul Chapman. So if you go ahead and update the name servers, the emails, there will be a propagation during the DNS changes. So you may get your emails either at the old place or the new one. So I usually recommend clients to update their DNS settings like during weekends so they can properly wait for the propagation period, a time where they don't get a lot of emails usually. But in case you had your emails with another company and now you want to have them through SiteGround, you should know that all of your mailboxes should be created on SiteGround again. So you need to duplicate your mailboxes on SiteGround the way that I actually showed you. So let's see another question. Do you have CDN and cache features by default? We do have both. By default, no. Let me go ahead and see if I can add Francesca back in. Give me 1 second. Nope. This is not going to, well, I'm sorry, guys. I think Francesca dropped from this webinar. I'm not sure if she just didn't like it or what. Oh, Francie. Well, thank you. So let's go back to the previous question about the CDN and the caching system. So by default, we have both. We are partners with Cloudflare about CDN systems, so you can this is integrated in your SiteGround account and it can be easily activated from there. We also have for WordPress websites our SiteGround Optimizer plugin. We have 3 levels of caching system that you can also activate after your website is created through the SiteGround user area, through the SiteGround client area. Okay. Let's see another question. I'm going through your comments, guys. If someone already asked in the ask a question section, unfortunately, I cannot see your questions. I would go ahead and encourage all of you to, if you have questions, my team are available 24/7. So you can always get in touch. If I don't address your question at the moment, feel free to get in touch with us anytime. We'll be more than happy to help you. Okay. How to make changes to your website when it's on the SiteGround server? temporary domain name. And then when you're ready with the new website on the temporary domain name, so we choose exactly what we did in the webinar. We choose the option to work on a temporary domain name. So once you're ready with the new website on the temporary domain name, we just point we do the primary domain name change, and then we point our real domain name by changing the name servers to the real website. This way you will have the old website and the traffic towards your old website working up and running the whole time until you are ready to go live with the new website. So that's a very interesting question, and thank you again. Okay, another question. I have some separate accounts for clients. If I upgrade to Go Geek, can I merge those accounts to operate as white label? And can I get credit for unused time on those accounts? Yes, this is an option. You can merge all of your, if you want to upgrade to Go Geek, that's our highest tier of hosting service, and you can host multiple websites there. So the Go Geek package pretty much gives you all essential features that you want to have, and in order to resell our services pretty much. That's why it's also white labeled. You can just go ahead and upgrade to your Go Geek package, merge all of your websites there. Most probably you will have to take care about the actual transfer of the websites on your end. So you have to move the websites. About any unused credits, I would highly recommend you to get in touch with our team so they can have a look at your account and help you on that. Okay, so another question, once we've chosen a domain name, is it possible to change it? I haven't set up my website yet and decided on something else. Yes, absolutely. So anytime if you want to do like domain change, you can start on a temporary domain name and then go with the real domain name. That's fine. You can do it anytime. You can start with one domain name and switch to another domain name if you change your mind. That's also fine. It's fully possible to switch from one domain name to another at any point. How do I delete the theme I'm not using? For WordPress specifically, the easiest option is just to log into the WordPress admin panel and go to the appearance themes option and just delete it from there. Usually it's recommended to go ahead and remove all of your themes and plugins that you don't use, but again, that's not exactly with the topic of this webinar, so I'm just going to leave it for another webinar that we're planning to do specifically for WordPress websites. Okay. I don't have my website built, but I did register the domain name with you. And within 2 weeks, the domain was blacklisted and SiteGround doesn't offer help with the other than direct you to an expensive security service. This is very interesting question. I'm not sure if you get in touch with our support team. I would recommend you to go ahead and do so. The reasons can be different. So first of all, when you register a brand new domain name, you should know that there is a global regulation that the domains needs to be verified after registration within the first 15 days after registration. So that might be the reason for your troubles. Again, I would recommend you to go ahead and get in touch with our support team for assistance. Will this be recorded, available to come back to watch later? Yes, we are recording the video. So unless there is some kind of a technical problem, which I hope not, since Francesca is no longer with us. If we manage to properly record the video, we will send it to, as long as you're registered for this event, for this webinar, you will get an email with a link, so you can go ahead and watch it anytime you need it. Okay. Let's see some other questions that might be interesting for all of you to know. Okay, this is an interesting one from Dragana. Does SiteGround offer a service like an one-on-one walkthrough for this process? I mean, someone who literally walks me through the technical process of setting up a website until I have a coming soon page, WordPress running in the background where I can start building the website. Dragana, we have 24/7 available support people. I am part of the customer care team, so I can assure you that anyone will be happy to help you, so you can start working on your website, on your ideas. We don't actually walk you through the whole process, so at some point you will need to take over and do it yourself, because the hosting service we offer, that's not something that will help you with the actual website development, but we will definitely give you a hand on how and where to start, so you can get a better idea of how it works and what needs to be done. So my recommendation is to get in touch with our support team, and any of them will be happy to help you. Do you have any upcoming workshops based on using FTP software? We are planning on a series of webinars. I cannot give you exactly the themes, the subjects of the webinars at the moment, or any dates, but we'll definitely, guys, keep you updated and post everything on our social media, so you can just go ahead and follow our social medias for updates about different webinars and different posts and other useful events. Okay, let's see some other questions. How can I start over if I don't like what I created at first? This is an interesting one. The easiest way is if you just go ahead and remove your website and start from scratch. So when you log into your client area and go to the upper right corner where you can see all of your websites, just navigate to the specific website, and to the right of the screen, click on the manage option. There is an option there to delete the website, so you can just go ahead, delete it, and create a new one, start completely from scratch with the same domain name, and take it from there. Okay. Again, hi, will this be recorded? Yes, it will be recorded again. I'm already working with a SiteGround affiliate. Nice. Okay, I see that some of you guys are posting questions, very specific questions about your personal websites. Right now, it's just impossible for me to be more specific when I'm not familiar with what's going on with your specific website. So for those of you who are having some difficulties, my recommendation again is just to go ahead and contact our support team. They're super nice and super friendly, so anyone will be happy to help you with those questions. And since it's getting late already and we've been here for an hour, I'm planning to go ahead and just finish with the webinar for now. I obviously couldn't. Okay, one last question from Humberto. It just came up and I just can't miss it. So, Humberto, what is FTP account? This is a very interesting question again. FTP account is a way to connect your hosting package to your website and connect some files, upload some files from your local computer to the hosting account. So this is for you to upload something there. Like if you want to go ahead and upload an image, FTP is an option to do it, like connect your hosting account with your local computer. But if you are going to start with a new website, And going through the steps that I just showed you, you won't need FTP because we are setting up files, databases. You just need to log in as administrator and start working on the actual website. So you are not going to need FTP, at least not in the beginning. So again, guys, I couldn't address all of your questions, but feel free to reach out to the SiteGround support team anytime you want to do like a session with them. If you need help, if you want to ask something, no matter how simple is that or how complicated is that, our team will be happy to help you. And I want to thank you all for being here today and joining us for this webinar. I really hope it was useful to most of you, and I hope to see you again at another webinar. Again, we're planning to make like different webinars on different topics, so follow us on the social media and stay updated. I'm gonna go ahead and wish you a wonderful evening or a wonderful day, no matter where you are. And again, thank you for being with us.